Hey everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, that website address, if you don't already know what it is, it's www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Keep sending your questions. I love getting questions. I will keep you anonymous, so do not worry about that. This question that I received today is from a viewer who will remain anonymous. And it's regarding contracts and budgets. So like everyone's favorite topic in this industry, it seems like, especially from the research clinics out there and the SMOs and people who run these organizations, both large and small, it doesn't really matter. So it says, "Hi Dan, I'm back with a question for you. When negotiating contracts, is it acceptable that a sponsor only show you what they are paying for the total visit and not exactly how much they are paying per line item?" Thank you for your question. I've seen this before. I've negotiated tons of contracts over the past 8 to 10 years, and usually you will see, like, per visit, you will see like a line item breakdown. So for instance, in a screening visit, you will see a informed consent, how much they will charge, how much they will pay you or reimburse you, whatever you want to call it, for doing the informed consent, how much they will reimburse you for doing the physical, how much they will reimburse you for taking the medical history, and whatever else happens as per the protocol for that visit one screening. You'll see line item of what the sponsor is willing to reimburse you for that. In this case, in the case of this viewer, that's not what's happening. What she is getting is just a visit. So like no line items, just what each visit will pay. So visit one will pay $1,000, visit two will pay $800, visit three, $1,500, like that. So it's very difficult to negotiate these kind of contracts. Here's what I would do, because in most cases, and what I've seen, where I've seen these instances happen the most is from the actual sponsors, not CROs. CROs will usually have these line items because they've already created that for what they have negotiated with the sponsor for what they should get reimbursed. So a lot of times you'll see this from the sponsor themselves, and that's either because they don't want to give you what they're willing to reimburse per line item, so they might have an advantage there as far as you not being able to negotiate that much better, or whatever other reason. Maybe it's proprietary information and they're holding that information secret. CROs usually do a much better job because they have to, because they're in the same position as you are, where they're negotiating these contracts and budgets with the sponsors. So here's what I would do, and my guess is this is from a sponsor. What I would do is I would get the protocol. You most likely already received it, and you know in the protocol there's an important page. There's an important several pages called the visit schedule of assessments. So it breaks down every visit in the study. So visit 1 through 10, or however many visits you have. It'll break down every visit horizontally, and then vertically it will have each procedure that's needed for that visit, and then they'll have a check mark going across the paper showing what assessment is done at what visit, which ones are done multiple times. Get all that information. It's going to be a lot of work, but maybe find an assistant or someone to do it for you so you don't have to actually waste your time on this mundane stuff. Get that information in an Excel sheet, exactly how they have it. Horizontal on the top, vertical on the bottom, the visits on the top, assessments on the bottom, and start putting in, go to other contracts that you've received and that you've negotiated and that you've been happy with, and start putting in those line items. Informed consent. Let's say in another budget you negotiated and you were happy with this budget, $120 for an informed consent process. You would add that in there and then just keep going down. For a physical, maybe you had $300 in your last budget, put $300. And for the contracts where you can't find the procedures, you have to start, guesstimating where it would be. So if you've never done a particular procedure in another study, try to figure out what's involved. Ask your PI, ask your study nurses, ask your study coordinators what's involved, and try to compare it, just like a realtor would compare comparable properties in an area when they're trying to come up with a price point. Compare that procedure versus other procedures, and with all the information that you're getting from your PIs and your study coordinators, and feel free to network with other clinics and see what they're getting for these kind of procedures. Come up with a cost for that. And just do this for every line item. Hopefully you have most of the line items already negotiated from other contracts, and feel free to ask for more. Actually, just because you asked for 120 for an informed consent in another study, ask for 150. Let them negotiate you down to 120. Whatever it is you feel comfortable with, there really is no right or wrong answer, but in situations like this, there's a little more work involved because you have to build out the schedule of assessment yourself, since the sponsor kindly, ever so kindly, did not do that for you. Hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have any other questions. Leave your comments down here. If it's on YouTube, leave your comments. If it's on theclinicaltrialguru.com, leave your comments. I want to give my Clinical Trial Guru producers a shout out. Sarah Elizabeth Siegler, Resolve Research Solutions, Accurate Clinical Trials, Erdhart Clinical Trials, PTNR, Patrick Stowe, Darshan Kulkarni, Biopharm Systems, Zymewire, Mozio, South Coast Clinical Trials, Breakthrough Clinical Trials, and St. Paul Medical Research Center in Miami, Florida. If you want to be a Clinical Trial Guru producer, let me know. It's only $99 for a lifetime membership. I'm only accepting 100, and that's it for life. Send me an email, Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com, and hopefully this answers your question. Take care. Bye-bye.